I did so forum thread where they have similar structure, and they try to create this with long IK bones. You can see they start here, and then we have a longer chain of IK. But this cannot work because we need actually connection in the middle of each intersection. So for that, we need to create smaller IKs, something like this. And we need to make sure that the target of IK is actually in the middle. So we will be moving these middle points to avoid creating targets on the edges. For that, we can start an IK from here. And yeah, I think we can leave it there for now. I'm doing approximate rigging here. You can see they are not perfectly aligned. I hope you can forgive me. I don't want to waste your time. You'll do a better job to line them. Okay, so let's create the IKs. Select two bones, select the end bone, and that will create an IK. Let's put this bone inside this new target. Select the again two bones and create another IK. Select this bone, put it inside here. Let's create another IK and put last chain here and create the last IK on the right side. So this way we have our IKs. You can see they are working nicely. So the same thing should happen on the other side. And for top, we don't need to convert them to mesh, but the other ones need to bend in the middle. So we need to convert it to mesh. Let's see if we did bind everything. Great. Yeah. So the last thing, we just need to do the same as we did here. Just create one bone, create an IK, make it stretchable, and put all those bones inside this IK. And lastly, let's select these bones and disable scale. And yeah, so this works fine. You can see the structure is correct. It actually expands by itself since we did build it properly. When we expand it, it actually gets narrow here. So this is properly working. Obviously, if you have the equal length of the bones and everything is aligned, it will work much better and you won't have issues here because the bones are not the same length. So the last thing you can do here, if you want some curvy motion here, as we had in initial example, you can create a path constraint instead of this IK. So I will remove it and let's create a path first of all, and then create the constraint. Let's create a bone here. Select the path and bind it to container and to this bone. That means now I can move the path by just moving the bone. You can see the curvature is a little bit different. I actually want something like this, but only by moving the bone. I don't want to also rotate it. It's an extra work. So for that, you can exit the path and bring this up here. Let's update bindings. And now if we move this, you can see it at least doesn't create the other way that we had something like this. So it just creates a little bit bending. And if we adjust here, and if we move the handle of the bottom vertex higher, let's click update bindings. And this is the curvature I'm looking for. So after I get this, I can select these bones and create path constraint. This is where it's very tricky because it's really going to break right now. First, let's reset constraints. And this is also looking broken, but everything working fine here. All the bones doesn't have length, so they align at the same location because yeah, they pretty much don't have length. Just to show it to you, if I give them a length, you can see everything is starting to work. But instead, I will just use, instead of length, maybe % for the spacing. So this way I can give some value for spacing, let's say 20%. And you can see we have some clumping at the bottom. Maybe we can give some offset by moving position up. So basically what we say that first bone already starts at the 20%. Yeah, pretty much that. And that said, we have our structure. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, and you can see we have an issue. We lost we lost our rig about expanding or contracting the width of the structure. And even if I select the reset in constraint order, it doesn't help us because we have a lot of constraints and Spine doesn't know how to fix it. So in these situations, you can fix it manually. Let me move it down here, select the constraint and drag it down until I see it scaling, because it was not scaling actually. So when it's scaling, and then we can select the other constraint and move it until we see that working. So now it should work nicely. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye.